But the House witnessed similar scenes as have been the norm, dominating the last few sessions. Ruckus, sloganeering, complete showdown. Both the houses were disrupted by opposition MPs so much that at least in Lok Sabha not much business was conducted. It was adjourned merely 23 minutes after beginning its proceedings. The government says it's ready for a debate provided it takes place at the designated hour and in a structured manner. Sources also indicate that Prime Minister himself will be part of the debate on Operation Sindoor, but only next week post his foreign trips. The opposition claims their voices are being blocked. It is also insisting they want the Prime Minister to respond especially to claims made by US President Donald Trump. What that means is that at least for this week, there could be little business done. Can there be any consensus to let business to go on while Operation Sindoor debate comes up? Is that unreasonable to expect? We'll take that and more to our guests in just a bit. But first up, let's recap exactly what transpired as far as the lower house today is concerned. At around 11:05 this morning, the proceedings began in both houses of parliament. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla first condoled Air India crash and a moment of silence was observed. Following which, the floor was open for question hour and that marked the beginning of unruly behaviour by MPs. The session soon turned stormy as majority of the MPs resorted to sloganeering. What some could be heard demanding centre's answers to questions surrounding Operation Sindoor. Others were soon seen flashing placards which read, "We want justice." Mind you, this is barely 15 minutes after the proceedings have begun. Virtually no business has actually taken place. Listen in.
व्यक्त करें और महत्वपूर्ण विषय जो देश में घटना घटी है उन पर व्यापक चर्चा और संवाद हो। इस मिथक को तोड़ना ही चाहिए। मेरा आग्रह आपसे, सदन को आप प्रश्नकाल के बाद प्रश्नकाल जो भी विषय होता है।
It was already a pandemonium by then. 17 minutes into the session, all persuasion efforts by Speaker Om Birla, even other senior leaders on the Treasury side, including Union Minister Kiren Rijiju, failed. The Speaker tried to calm the opposition MPs, but nothing worked and heated scenes returned to Parliament. Om Birla was even heard warning MPs who were pushing for a debate on Operation Sindoor, but aside from what was the schedule. Now at 11:23 a.m., Speaker Om Birla adjourned the Lok Sabha for an hour as the sloganeering continued without a pause during the question hour and after repeated warnings. The opposition was pushing for a debate, remember, on Operation Sindoor when the House broke into this ruckus. Before adjourning, Speaker Om Birla said that the government is ready to respond to all issues. He reminded members that the House is meant for discussion, not for shouting slogans, and that proceedings should follow established rules. He also assured that any issue raised properly as per the rules will be taken up. But here's the kicker. By 12:48 p.m., this is roughly 1.5 hours after proceedings began, the House was adjourned. Leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi had already alleged bias in Parliament. He claimed that he is deliberately not being allowed to speak. One wonders though, if he didn't get an opportunity, whose fault is it exactly? Opposition was creating a ruckus within 15 minutes of proceedings. Can they claim they were there for a debate and discussion, or was it the agenda that they're going to actually cut off any kind of possibility of an actual business proceeding, even if it meant that they allowed some business to take place and then come back to their demands? It's pertinent to remember here that costs of running the House are huge and each parliamentarian shoulders the responsibility of not letting it go to waste. It costs 2.5 lakh per minute to run the Parliament. A typical session is around 6 hours or 360 minutes. A disrupted day then costs as much as 9 crore rupees. Furthermore, MPs get paid 1 lakh per month, taking the monthly cost to 5.43 crore. They're also eligible for additional allowances. Daily cost of the MP allowance alone stands at 10 plus lakhs. The total cost of a disrupted day would mean anything upwards of 9 crores, and the cost of 6 days of disruption would be over 55 crore rupees. Is there no accountability for all of this money? Is it pure politics that will dominate? So with ruckus, protest and a washout, this is the new session, but are we going to see the same tale? Is this session going to meet the same fate where there's a lot of drama but very little discussion and debate on substance? We'll take that to our guests joining us.
बैठिए प्रदीप पुरोहित जी। हाँ, हर चीज का जवाब देगी सरकार।
देश ने एकता की ताकत देखी है, एक स्वर का सामर्थ्य क्या होता है देखा। दल हित में मत भले न मिले, लेकिन देश हित में मन जरूर मिले।
ये सदन है, नारेबाजी करने के लिए आप सदन के बाहर जाओ।
हाउस में डिफेंस मिनिस्टर को बोलने देते हैं, उनके लोगों को बोलने देते हैं, मगर अगर विपक्ष का कोई कुछ कहना चाहता है तो अलाउड नहीं है। मैं लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन हूँ, मेरा हक है, तो मुझे तो कभी बोलने ही नहीं देते हैं।
कल पार्टी मीटिंग में सारे पार्टी लीडर ने कहा है ज़्यादा चर्चा होना चाहिए। सरकार चर्चा के लिए बिजनेस लेके आ रहे हैं और ये नीचे कूद करके हंगामा कर रहे हैं, ये तो कोई तरीका नहीं है।
एक सेकंड सर।
Let's go across to our guest joining us, Gopal K. Agarwal, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Nishant Anand from the Congress Party, Deepak Reddy, Spokesperson of the TDP, and Sajid K. Supariwala, leader of the UBT, is also with us. Let me begin with Nishant Anand first. You know, Rahul Gandhi, I played out that bite of his. He says कि मुझे बोलने ही नहीं देते. Is that a fair criticism? He has spoken, given long speeches in Parliament in last few sessions as well. And if Parliament, if opposition parliamentarians start creating a ruckus, start even coming to the well of the House, then how is he going to speak?
Hi, good evening to everybody. See, I'll start by saying that BJP and Modi ji should not act cowardly. As they all knew, the leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi ji, will ask for right to reply about the Pahalgam attack. They all pre-planned and they all left. The speaker left the parliament. BJP left the parliament. See, today, we all want to know why those 26 innocent people were killed. Till today, we do not know where are those 4 terrorists. 11 years, 0 press conference by Pradhan Mantri Modi ji. If this is a failure by BJP government, so they should accept it. They should accept it and tell the citizens that why it happened, where are the terrorists. And the second major point. Let me
One
complete.
second, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. No, one second, I'll come back. But both of you, please just hold on. Nishant, you know, I'm not saying that the opposition doesn't have right questions to ask or rightful, questions to ask of the government. That's not the point here. The point is that it is your MPs that created the din, your MPs that swelled the well of the House. How is any... I mean, I am running the pictures. They're the ones standing there with placards. This doesn't suggest that you were actually ready to pose any questions and actually hear any answers.
See, please try to understand. Number one point is, from last 11 years, Modi ji has not given 0 press conference.
That's not the point
Number
here.
2 point.
You can't take out that grudge in Parliament. No, I'm sorry. You can't take out that grudge in Parliament session after session.
What I have to say, ma'am, I need 30 seconds, then you can interrupt me. The second point is, we only asked the question, what happened about the Pahalgam? Where are those terrorists?
Okay.
Now, whenever leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi ji asks any question from Modi ji, if it is Adani or it is about the farmer's death or it is about the today or the Pahalgam attack, why did they run away? Point number 3, why did the speaker left the parliament? Why
What do you
did
mean
Modi
he
ji?
left?
Last point. Why did Modi ji gave a media press conference today, held a private meeting with the BJP people and left away?
Okay.
See, today when in this press conference also he was condemning that opposition is not doing the right way. Till today, we do not know why those 26 people were killed. Last point, why did Trump say 21 times that I seized the this Pahalgam attack on the for the
I think
for the
you're
3
already
reasons?
displaying the the lack of understanding that every question cannot be posed immediately as soon as somebody comes into the room. There is a way to
No,
structure
you're
a
not.
debate,
We
especially
only
inside
asked
the
one
House.
question.
It's not just Congress MPs who are
See,
members of Parliament. You don't get to dictate what the House does. There are other parliamentarians. There are
See,
business that is
today
decided.
India wants
The
to know why
question, the
BJP and
question
Modi
is
ji is
separate.
acting like
But the
cowards.
way it's going to be put and
We are
asked is a
running away from
separate
the
issue
question.
altogether. But I'll take that question to Gopal K. Agarwal. You know the opposition wants to talk about Operation Sindoor. Why can't you just do that first up? What else could be more important? That's a fair question to ask. Why not start day one of monsoon session with a structured debate on Operation Sindoor and allow opposition to have first right of say?
Shivani ji, we have to understand what is the intention of opposition. It is now very clear from the today the event what it took place in the parliament is just when the house started functioning, immediately they jumped to the well, took out placards, and they wanted to disrupt the parliament. That was the only intention. And now, in a manner which is not conducive to what they want to say, is that they are asking questions outside. They have been doing this always since several days. What Nadda ji said, you are trying to give an impression, opposition particularly, that the government is not ready to
But
discuss
is
on
that impression not fair?
No, the opposition doesn't want to
Agarwal ji?
discuss the
That
Operation
impression
Sindoor.
is
Shivani
also
ji,
being
let me
made
complete.
because you
Yes,
don't hold the
Shivani ji.
most important political discussion
So,
on day one.
That's what I'm telling. Opposition doesn't want to discuss Operation Sindoor. They want to only give impression that the government is not ready to.
On what basis
discuss
are you
Sindoor.
saying that?
That is what
Scheduled?
Nadda told in the floor of the house.
But the debate hasn't been scheduled. We don't know
So-
when it's supposed to take
No,
place.
it is already in the media that a speaker has scheduled 16 hours for Operation Sindoor. What is the problem if they want the Prime Minister to be in India? A 16 hours debate has to take place. Prime Minister is going out on 24th and 25th. So clearly Kiran Rijiju has told them that next week he will be available, and that time you can discuss on operations. What is the problem if
Okay.
it is discussed
Before
in the
I
next
open
week?
this up to our other two panelists, Nishant, I'll give you 30 seconds to respond, please.
See, I'll say that जब कमजोर प्रधानमंत्री हो और भगोड़ी सरकार हो, then there is a weak prime minister and भगोड़ी सरकार. A leader of opposition has
yeah,
to ask
what
the
is-
most important.
this is nothing
It
to
has
do
to
in the
ask the
parliament
most important
Par-
question that why
the
did
most strong
Narendra surrender?
Prime
Why did
Minister
our prime minister got
who has
surrendered,
taken a
and why
strong
did
action
our
against
foreign
terrorism,
policy stand
Naxal
low?
war.
Why he is not ready to answer
No,
the
no, no,
most
no.
important
This is
question?
just a
Today,
false
the widows of
propaganda
26 innocent
machine
people,
of
the wives
opposition.
of them are still crying and still
Okay.
waiting and
Okay.
waiting.
Can I
Modi
come
ji
in
to
one by
answer
one,
and
please?
BJP
Please
to
don't
take the
speak over each
credibility.
other. But Nishant, you heard the BJP representative say debate is going to happen. There are going to be 16 hours given for it. It's going to happen when the Prime Minister can indeed attend and respond. Why can't the opposition just be patient for a week? I mean, it's not justified to allow all of the House proceedings to be superseded and completely sidestepped because of this, just because you are insisting of it right here and right now.
Give me 20 seconds.
Vani,
I'll come back to you. Gopalji, I'll come back to you.
In the last 18 months, I have been on debates wherein I was answering the same question for the previous incidents like stock market crash or Adani scam. And I was being said by the reporter, you have got the hours and you have a particular day Modi ji has decided and he will answer. And today he has not answered. We all are educated people and we know what BJP can answer and what Modi ji can take a credibility of.
Okay.
He has
No.
jeopardized India with everybody.
No, that may be fair as an political opinion of the opposition parties. No problems with that. But debate in House or any kind of discussion or discourse, any kind of proceedings have to follow a certain amount of rules. You cannot
Correct.
run a House like that. That's the only
Correct.
thing
That
that
is
one
what-
is saying.
that is what-
And
that
all
is-
of your
that is
grouses
what the
can be
problem
heard
is.
one by one. It's possible that not
you will
everybody
just
will get
repeat the
time to
same
speak. It's
thing.
possible not every grouse will be heard. But there has to be some structure to it. And I don't know why the government fails to
Correct.
run
So, I'll
it,
tell you,
because the
just last thing.
responsibility
No, no, it
also
is
is
not
with
the
the treasury
government which is
benches.
failing.
Gopal
Just
ji,
one last
Nishant Vanji, please, 1 second, please. Gopal.
It is not the government which is failing. Opposition doesn't want the house to be run because they have serious questions which they have to answer about the role of principal opposition in case of Operation
The ruling
Sindoor.
government has
They
to
took the
answer
line which
the
favored
mistakes
Pakistan.
they
They
have
took
done.
the line
They
which
have to
favored
answer about 26
China. And we
innocent
want to
people who
ask
have
them
been killed.
why they
They have
went
to answer
internationally
why
on
Trump
issues
said
on
Okay.
Operation
21
Sindoor.
times,
Okay,
I
okay.
stop the war.
No, Dishant, I gave you the time to speak. Now, don't speak in between. Because opposition doesn't want the proper discussion, they start disrupting the parliament. It is the opposition which doesn't want a structured debate. They just want to create ruckus in the
Okay,
parliament
okay.
and
Is
create
that a
an
fair
impression.
criticism? Because we've seen in the last few occasions also, there are certain issues being spoken about, Sajid, before the session begins. On the day the session begins, suddenly, opposition is creating a ruckus on some other issue. They say, no, we want an answer on this now, here, so-and-so has to speak. Those are not dictations that the opposition can make. Who speaks and who doesn't speak? Sajid.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. The BJP spokesperson is also here. The Congress spokesperson, Nishant ji, is also there. I just see one thing over here is that whatever Nishant also said, that the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Modi ji, has always avoided press conferences innumerable times, and that I agree with. Secondly, the decorum of the parliament or monsoon session which is going on, which has to be started. If opposition wants to say something, this is a democracy. We have every right to either protest peacefully
But
or
why
ask
protest in the
questions.
House, Sajid?
One
It
minute, I'm
disrupts
coming up.
proceedings.
Yeah.
Yes, you can protest. I'm not saying you
Yeah,
shouldn't
but-
protest at all,
but-
even in House.
but-
But if it leads to the point where no discussion can happen, you've come with your pre-decided agenda that aaj hame protest karna hai, then what's the point?
I'll tell you something. Before this, also in other debates, also I have mentioned the same, that the opposition parties had not been taken into confidence during the Sindoor operation, which they started calling it a Sindoor operation.
Now that's
And
an
lot of things
unfair
that-
demand.
One minute. Let me complete. If you're asking me a question, let me also come sensibly here. I'm not speaking in the air. I'm talking to the point. Now, when nobody is being heard or they are not being able to heard, I mean, Rahul Gandhi said that I am not being able to say anything. I don't have a say in the opposition. This is not the way it should be. Let the opposition speak. Let them criticize you.
They
only.
can
It is the-
speak, but they have to also be patient that some business will happen,
They-
maybe side by side or before some of their more
they
pressing
wouldn't have-
demands. Is that
they-
unfair?
As per as per my knowledge, if they are protesting in the house itself, there could be a reason that they had come with the motive, because they must have been avoided or something must have not
Okay.
materialized. That is the reason this has happened. Now, what I say
No, but-
is that criticism makes you better. A government will only run if there is a strong opposition.
Yes.
If there is no strong opposition, the government will not be able to.
You're
work
absolutely
on
right,
things.
which is why when good discussions happen in Parliament, when all parliamentarians sit, listen to each other, discussions are held, and all of those issues that my friend Nishant has talked about, they were eventually discussed. Those were good, engaging debates. But it's not fair to come within the first 15 minutes of a session and say, oh, we are not being allowed to speak. That just doesn't cut ice. Deepak Reddy, this insistence that the opposition has that, see, we want to hear from the Prime Minister. He should come, he should listen to our questions, he should also give us responses. Is that unfair of the opposition to demand?
Would like to actually go a little back to the election day results. If you see Mr. Rahul Gandhi, he came on air and his statement was, now we have enough numbers to disrupt the parliament. So although he had a triple hat-trick, a defeat, he was not unhappy about that. But he said, now I have certain numbers. And the intention of the Congress and the India ecosystem is absolutely clear that they don't want the parliament to function smoothly, and their only intention is to disrupt that. Going back to all our school days, we would have come across such kind of a behavior. One or two bad students who don't understand anything in the class, they start disturbing other students. I think it's pretty much what is going on here. They should be, the Congress and the India ecosystem should understand. One second.
Nishant,
Don't
one
take
by
my
one,
time.
please.
One second. The Congress and the India ecosystem should understand the people of India have n number of issues. You can't just hold the parliament, hostage this way every time and then ignore the issues what the people of India are facing. You're being viewed by millions of people in India. You're making a fool of yourself. Let me make one thing very clear. Before the beginning of the parliament, a business advisory committee sits and all party members are part of it. You clearly know what is going to happen in the session.
But I
So if
believe
you
there is
have
no
any
consensus
issue-
on the Operation Sindoor debate.
Yes, ma'am. And there are 6 or 7 other provisions. I've read the rule book because I was also a legislator before. And there are other forums you can raise your issue. But here the intention is absolutely clear. They are not coming in a proper format and they're disturbing the parliament. So the intention is absolutely clear. The India ecosystem is not on the side of the people of India. Their only intention is to disturb the parliament and make themselves at least relevant in the eyes of people on the TV.
Can I just quickly play out Jagdambika Pal's reaction that came in today? He seems to suggest that this was not about being reasonable from the opposition. They were just there to disrupt, and no amount of persuasion to them and assurances to them worked. Let's just listen into what he said.
मैं आपसे अपील करूंगा, लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन से अपील करूंगा, राहुल गांधी से अपील करूंगा कि आप कृपया, जब 0 आवर है और आज बिजनेस एडवाइजरी कमेटी की बैठक है, जो विषय भी आप चाहते हैं वो बिजनेस एडवाइजरी कमेटी में रखा जाएगा और आप सबकी राय से उसको विषय पे चर्चा होगी। रक्षा मंत्री जी ने अभी कहा है, संसदीय कार्य मंत्री ने कहा है, अभी संसदीय कार्य मंत्री ने कहा, ये सदन नहीं है, ये देश की जनता इस बात को देख रही है। देश की जनता सदन के मानसून सत्र के दिन, पहले दिन आपने देखा कि सरकार तैयार है। प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा कि ये विजयोत्सव का पर्व है। पूरी दुनिया ने सेना के पराक्रम को देखा है, जिस तरह से लक्षित हमारी तीसरी अर्थव्यवस्था है। तो आखिर ये सदन, देश आगे जा रहा है। इस सदन में अगर आप चाहते हैं, हम बिल्कुल समय देंगे। आज आप सब लोग अपनी सीट पे जाएं, अपनी सीट पे जाएं, हम समय देंगे। जब कह रहे हैं माननीय रक्षा, नहीं, ये सदन ऐसे नहीं चलता। हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं, हम सदन चलाना चाहिए। क्यों एडजस्ट करें? हम चाहते हैं कि सदन चले। आपका 0 आवर है, मैं चाहता हूं आपको अवसर दूं। जितने माननीय सदस्य के 0 आवर में आए हैं, मैं उनको सबको अवसर देना चाहता हूं, लेकिन आप सदन नहीं चलने देना चाहते। आप सदन का पहला दिन इतना महत्वपूर्ण दिन है, आप इसको चलने नहीं देना चाहते हैं।
So there you have it. He was sitting in the chair of the speaker, Nishant. And how fair is it that you're just not listening to somebody who has the responsibility to conduct the House? He is personally requesting Rahul Gandhi as the leader of opposition that all of your business will be heard if you just allow the 0 hour to take place and, follow the procedures as they come. And we've seen this repeatedly from the opposition, to the extent that one time their discussion was taking place and they objected to the fact that they don't want this minister to speak, they want another minister to speak. And they tore away, one of their MPs tore away the response that the concerned minister was giving in Parliament. Now, this is not how business can run.
You see, I want you to remember that before 2014, the Parliament used to run, okay? And from the last 11 years, there has not been one time where BJP or Modi ji answered about the question asked by the Indians or by the LOP. If you talk about farmers were killed, it was not answered. Youth not getting job, it was not answered. Same like Adani scam, it was not answered. In last 11 years, or we can talk about Manipur also. They have not answered a single issue from the last 11 years.
Fair?
So,
for example, on Manipur,
you gave me 30 seconds.
1 second. Nobody else but the Home Minister himself spoke on Manipur. He answered questions from the opposition.
I again say weak Prime Minister of
Okay,
Godi
Prime Minister.
Sarkar ki wajah se leader of, we have to raise our voice and ask. Because till today, the wives of those 26 innocent people are waiting for Modi ji to answer. Till today, the nation wants to know, why did he surrender? Why did our Prime Minister surrender? Last 11 years, we have a record of BJP not answering to any of the issue raised.
Okay. Even on Manipur, Prime Minister actually did speak in Parliament. He added to what the Home Minister had said. And he had, of course, talked about the Manipur situation.
He did 124 foreign visits, but he did not go to Manipur even once. It has been close to 3 years.
Right.
So we all know today that BJP and Modi ji do not have any answer.
So,
they do not have any credibility.
A lot of times people say that if you actually allowed the government to speak and actually pose the questions.
From the last
and
11
one
years,
second, Nishant, just hear me out. Just hear me out. I know you're indulging in a lot of
BJP?
political, hyperbole, but aside from that, actually the opposition would be able to corner the government better if the House functions and the questions are posed. Then we can judge whether the quality of the question and the quality of the answer was good enough or not. Mr. Reddy wants to come in. I'll take that to Mr. Gopal. Mr. Gopal ke Gopal as well. Mr. Reddy wants to come in. Mr. Reddy, please not over each other. Mr. Reddy only. Yes.
Yeah. One straightforward question I have. The MPs of the India ecosystem had an option to raise the questions and it would be taken up in the first question hour, the 0 hour. Why didn't they raise these questions? Apart from this, there are 4 or 5 other ways they can come. Once the 0 hour, the question hour gets over, there is a provision to raise this. So, but they are not allowing the question hour to go on, wherein the questions are actually asked for the people of India, which are concerning them. So it is absolutely intentional that they don't want the parliament to function. They don't want the issues of the people to be discussed.
But
so
I have a counter question. No, I have a counter question for Gopal K. Agarwal as well. Isn't it possible that because this is the first session happening post Pahalgam, post Operation Sindoor, so much has transpired, wasn't it possible that you could suspend all other business on the first day of Parliament? For the first 2 days, you could have earmarked discussions on Operation Sindoor. Prime Minister is here for these 2 days as well. I mean, that intent has to be shown by the government as well, right? No heavens would have fallen if you had just discussed Operation Sindoor.
No, Shivani ji, we have to understand. Here also, they are not saying one thing. Issues like Prime Minister has not taken any press conference for last 11 years. Like these issues are also, so they will never stop. The thing is, Parliament, is the opposition wanting 0 hour to be suspended? They don't want the question hours to be there. This is a procedure, constitutional procedure. And they have to give notice under to the speaker. Speaker allots the time. He allowed in the parliament, the Parliament Affairs Committee. They decide where opposition is also part of that. But the thing is, they just simply have no intention to run the Parliament.
Okay.
They just only they want to create ruckus and they don't have any questions which. Ruling dispensation has said that we are ready to answer.
Okay. Also, what you say...
Last 10 seconds more. If the opposition wants the discussion to be in the parliament, what they are doing, will they have the discussion like this in the parliament? Are they achieving the objective that they want stating? Actually, they are stating different thing, but intention is different.
Okay.
This has to be very clear that their intention is different and what they are stating in public or other platform is completely at divergence to what they want to achieve.
Sajid, the question that also arises is, you know, this whole thing about Rahul Gandhi repeatedly playing martyr, saying, oh, I'm the LOP, I'm not allowed to speak, I'm the LOP, I'm not allowed to speak. I mean, how far can that go? You have to create a conducive environment for all sides to be able to hear each other.
Negative environment.
I think
Also, I don't think it helps anyone if the debate inside Parliament, the questions and the tone and tenor, also the content of that question is exactly the same as you have already asked outside of Parliament. There's space to do your politics on certain issues outside Parliament. In Parliament, we expect, you know, a better discussion, a better quality of discussion, not just why haven't you done an press conference for 11 years?
I think the best government which would run, a proper government which is very stable and confident about what they have been doing, first will only let the opposition ask questions if they are confident enough. Definitely there is a little issue here that they were not confident because they knew that we have not taken the opposition parties into confidence during or before the Sindoor operation.
They were taken into confidence. Sajid, I don't know what you're saying. There were, multi-party meetings that happened. There were multi-party meetings that happened before Operation Sindoor and after Pahalgam attack.
See, I will call a spade a spade. So listen, let me understand. Try to understand me. I call a spade a spade. Yeah, Congress is also there. BJP is also there. TDP is also there. I am Bala Sahib Shiv Sainik and I will call a spade a spade. I will not mince my words. I will tell you.
But you have to be correct.
No, I'm correct only because I'm confident about it. This is the way it should be.
But there were multi-party meetings happened. What do you mean that they were not taken into confidence?
The Honorable Prime Minister has always avoided press conferences and whatever plans are to be done. these people have to be taken into consideration. That is the reason, that is the role
You
of
do,
opposition.
one second,
It's the role of the
one second.
opposition
I'm
to
not
ask
understanding. Where is
It's a
this
democracy.
criticism coming
We
that
have every
because you did not take us into confidence when Operation Sindoor was being planned, we are not going to allow you to run parliament? First of all, it's wrong.
No, that's not
Multi-party briefings took place on Pahalgam and on Operation Sindoor. Sajid, beyond the point, the opposition can only ask for so much. Do you understand the word opposition? You're not in government. You're
I'm
not
coming to
going
that
to be
only.
sitting on the table taking decisions. This expectation that somehow you will be told everything that will happen, or you will sit on judgment on everything that the government has to do, or somehow you will have a veto power. That's not how it functions. That's not democracy.
There is a thumb rule in democracy that every country which will progress will only progress if the opposition is strong enough and it questions
So please make yourself strong.
If you want to just be and rule the country, then there is no democracy.
What does it
then
mean
there
if
is
you
dictatorship.
just want to rule the
Let
country?
opposition
What
ask
does that even
questions.
mean? This is all rhetoric.
Reply to the
I am
opposition,
saying,
take them into
Sajid,
consideration.
are you
Surely I am not
denying,
saying-
one
yes,
second, you are saying opposition was not taken into confidence.
see,
Are you
the
denying
results are
that
only-
all party meetings took place?
Ma'am, there has been a lot of loopholes. Don't make me go in the past. You yourself
You
aware
are going into
that
the
what has
past.
happened.
I am not going
No,
into
no.
the past.
You yourself are aware that what has happened in the past during the Sindoor operation also, how
Yes.
the PM, Honorable PM tried to surrender. Now, if I ask that question
You're
again,
just
it will go
changing
to another
goalposts.
debate.
This is not, frankly, what should
Surrender
happen
is
as
not
far
the
as
word.
serious issues are
India is a
concerned.
very strong
You want to
country. We
raise
have
the
to
issue
take our stand properly.
of Prime Minister allegedly surrendering. Please allow for that discussion to take place, but please don't say things like we were not taken into confidence. Opposition leaders were briefed both post Pahalgam and before Operation Sindoor. That's the best the government is
Monica,
expected
that
to
is
do.
you speaking. Ask the opposition.
What do you mean?
Ask
You
the
are
opposition
speaking,
this
it's on
question.
record.
Right now, Congress spokesperson is there. I am
Okay.
there.
To
Nobody
say
is satisfied.
Okay, all
Leader
right.
of-
All right, I have to leave it at that. We hope that certainly some more consensus can be derived and some discussion can take place, because we want to hear discussion on Operation Sindoor. We want to hear parliamentarians
Why did
ask
Narendra
questions,
surrender?
and
That
we
is
also want to hear both the treasury benches, the ministers concerned and the Prime Minister speak on it. That's a fair expectation. But certainly we have to make ground for that to happen in Parliament. I leave it at that. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. But speaking of Parliament, Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu indeed was able to speak for a while. That he dismissed speculation of the preliminary report on the Air India crash being biased, slammed Western media for pushing their own narrative. But he was speaking in Rajya Sabha that did see some debate or discussion or questions being answered. He urged the public and media to refrain from jumping to conclusions while asserting that the final findings would give a clearer picture of what led to one of the worst aviation disasters in India. Listen.
The investigation process, which is according to the international protocol, the norms which were set by International Civil Aviation Organization, where the state of operation should have their investigation body, and we have our own investigation body, which is the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, which got into the investigation process right after the incident. And I can say this to the House and through you to the people of this country also, that the AIB has a very definitive, thorough, rule-based process. They are very transparently looking into the process right now, and they are totally unbiased. This also I can say that the AIB is totally unbiased and looking into the facts. If you look at the preliminary reports, sir, AIB, as for the first time, so whenever these incidents happen, and if the black box gets damaged, black box is the flight data recorder, which has all the necessary information which gets recorded. And whenever there is a slight damage that happens, it was always, it came to that point, sir, where we were sending the black box outside to the original equipment manufacturer and getting it decoded from that state of manufacture only. And it was for the first time that as a country, India took a stand that the black box which was achieved, even if it was damaged, that the whole decoding process is going to happen in the country, and we have successfully done it in the country also. The AIB has been successful in decoding the entire data which was available. Now there can be many questions also. I have seen multiple articles myself. I have seen multiple articles not only by the Indian media but also the Western media trying to promote their own narrative, their own viewpoint, their own kind of consideration. But I have to tell you that the way we are seeing the investigation is through the facts.
Moving on, rift between Congress party and especially the Kerala unit and Trivandrum MP Shashi Tharoor has increased, with the unit speaking of a boycott of their own MP. Senior Congress leaders in Kerala ratcheted up their criticism of Tharoor, upset with his recent statements on many issues. Former KPCC President K. Muralidharan said Congress workers will boycott Tharoor and not invite him to party functions. We do not see Mr. Tharoor as one of us anymore, he said. Tharoor was reportedly not invited for an event organised by the All India Professionals Congress Kerala in Kochi last week. This comes after Tharoor, interacting with students in Kochi, said nation should come first before party. But he said speaking for nation is sometimes seen as disloyal by some, and that is problematic. But is Tharoor really wrong for taking a pro-nation stand? Tharoor said parties must collaborate on common interests even if they have divergent ideologies, to which Kerala unit's reaction was that they have given up on him. Tharoor said loyalty to nation comes first, not to the party. Kerala unit wants to boycott him for this stance. They say he won't be allowed to partake in any party events. Tharoor had also said that parties are a means of making the country better, so therefore one has to do their part. But Kerala unit even went on to say that he's not one of them anymore. The last war of words comes days after Shashi Tharoor had penned down an editorial, remember, on emergency critical of Indira Gandhi's rule. One can't help but think if this was what has become almost a last straw, because other lines notwithstanding, criticism of Indira Gandhi will go down very differently in the Congress ranks. Now, in his editorial, Tharoor had described emergency as a period of unchecked power that led to authoritarianism. He emphasized that civil liberties were suspended, dissent was silenced, and highlighted how journalists, activists, and opposition leaders were jailed. He also mentioned custodial torture, extrajudicial killings, and forced sterilization, and cited how slums in cities like Delhi were demolished, leaving thousands homeless. Tharoor even criticized the judiciary at that time for upholding the suspension of habeas corpus, effectively denying justice to the ordinary public. With this nation-first remark now pronouncing the divide between Tharoor, the Kerala unit, is it time that the Congress High Command should take a decision? Is Tharoor, frankly, a lost cause or lost case for the Congress party?
Sometimes the parties feel that is disloyal to them, and that becomes a big problem. Which is your first loyalty? To my mind, the nation comes first.
അല്ല അദ്ദേഹം കാര്യം ഞങ്ങൾ വിട്ടല്ലോ. ഇപ്പം അദ്ദേഹം ഞങ്ങളെ കൂട്ടത്തിൽ കൂടിയതായി ഞങ്ങൾ കണക്കാക്കുന്നു.
Is there even any point of going through the motions and continuing like this? Let's take that question to our guest joining us. Gopal K. Agarwal of the BJP continues to be with us. Nikul Patel, leader of the Congress party, with us. Also, my colleague, senior editor Pallavi Ghosh is with us and tracks the Congress party very closely. In fact, Pallavi, I'll begin with you. Earlier, you were telling me about how in Parliament, Shashi Tharoor was not so much interacting with his fellow Congress members, but was he interacting more with the Treasury benches today?
Actually, yes. There was this very two interesting moments really. At one moment, I remember Mr. K.C. Venugopal, and everyone knows that there is no love lost between the two of them. So both of them came face to face, and many of us were telling them to take a selfie, but there was a reluctance on the part of both Mr. K.C. Venugopal and Shashi Tharoor. So there was a moment of awkwardness. But then I noticed
people wanted to click them together.
The people wanted to click them together, just as we also wanted them to be clicked together. That would have been a great photo op.
Okay.
And I remember Mr. Venugopal just tells us, you people are just needlessly stoking a controversy. He's like my brother. Fortunately, the brother didn't look very comfortable with that.
Okay.
But I did see Shashi Tharoor spend a lot of time with Tejasvi Surya. Then he was talking to Suresh Gopi, who comes in from the same state. He was talking to Praful Patel. And when he was leaving, he was surrounded, and Prahlad Joshi at one point of time comes up and speaks to him and say, people say you're joining the BJP. So it's very clear, it's very obvious. No one is talking about it openly, but it's very obvious that Shashi Tharoor is nobody's person exactly as far as the Congress is concerned.
Yes. Nikul, it almost seems like, this is going nowhere. The the Congress doesn't seem to be very welcoming of him or any of his views anymore. And Shashi Tharoor is clearly at unease with the Kerala unit, especially, if not so much with the top leadership, although he has a grouse or two that he hasn't been heard or he hasn't been given too many responsibilities going forward as the face of Congress Kerala. Why don't you think, why doesn't the party just decide that, okay, you know, we have to go our separate ways? What's the problem here?
See, Shashi Tharoor ji is one of our prominent leaders from Kerala, and he was also minister during UPA government. So I don't think that responsibilities were not assigned. Right now we are in opposition, and Shashi Tharoor ji knows very well. He must know the party line, and he's a public figure as well as the face of the Congress. And if he crossed some limits, then definitely has to take care. That is what
limits has he crossed? In fact, that's a good way to put it. What limits has he crossed? Where do you think he went wrong?
There are so many things, so many ways, and so many things. There are so many, for every government, there are black points always. Even for Bharatiya Janata Party, if you see in Gujarat, there were riots which were not good part of a Modi government, but nobody speaks to come out of and say like that. So everywhere, Shashi Tharoor ji must realize it, and he must have harmony with everyone. He is also a part of us. But if he feels that he is not comfortable, and he will start speaking whatever he feels good in the interest of nation. When he was during the trip for Operation Sindoor, that is fine, and he's speaking for a nation. But now he's back home again. He's with the Congress, with an ideology of Congress, and definitely he must think first before giving any political or...
Interesting, you made an analogy of 2002. While it is correct that you wouldn't criticize too much on what transpired under your own party or party's leadership, Shashi Tharoor hasn't done that. All Shashi Tharoor is doing, Gopal K. Agarwal, is actually, just showing a little bit of confidence in what the government of the day has done vis-a-vis Pahalgam and Operation Sindoor, what our achievements or what our outreach has been. He has certainly applauded Prime Minister Narendra Modi for his diplomacy around the world. It's not so much that he's, naming names or throwing skeletons out of the cupboard of the Congress party. All he's doing, in his words, is that I'm keeping nation first. Why should any party be so uncomfortable with it?
That is your side of view.
No, that's not my side of the view. That's what Shashi Tharoor is saying. Thank you very much. But yes, Gopal ji.
This statement of Mr. Shashi Tharoor, that our nation first policy that I am following, and the Congress spokesperson just now, Nikhil ji, was saying that his ideology is not matching, his actions are not matching our ideological or party's interest. That means Congress wants to say that it is not the nation first, it is the Congress first, or the first family, that is first, Gandhi family first. So the basic problem with the Congress, we have also been telling, is that issues which are of national interest, which impact the image of the country at the global level, domestic politics, do politics, fight elections, criticize government, but at international platforms where image of the country matters, Rahul Gandhi goes out and speaks against the nation, and then those statements are quoted by Pakistan and China, and they leverage it at international platforms. So the issue is, is Congress following nation first or party first, and in that also Gandhi family first? That is what we have been telling. And they have to clarify what is the problem with Shashi Tharoor ji.
Well, Kerala unit is very clear. They have a problem with his pro-Modi statements. They also have a problem.
It is not pro-Modi.
They see it as pro-Modi. Come on, Gopal K. Agarwal, you have to allow them this much. They certainly see this as pro-Modi. And he has made statements praising Narendra Modi.
They have to underline where he said, if he has praised army in Operation Sindoor, at global level, he has defended our action against terrorism. Where is the problem that...
he has praised Narendra Modi personally too, as a Prime Minister, all of those other issues aside. But his criticism of... Yes?
So, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, being in opposition, had praised some works of the Nehruji and Indira ji.
What is the big problem, Nikul? Can't you praise other leaders at all, that to a Prime Minister of a country?
I would like to let the people of the country know that Congress has always tried to make the nation first, and that we have always seen. Over here, the line which I am drawing between the two is very clear about what Congress thinks in the larger interests of the country. I would like to say, is Bharatiya Janata Party praising ever Rahul Gandhi for so many actions what he is taking during his tenure of his career? No, they will never. They will always criticize Congress and they will always criticize Rahul Gandhi as well as everyone in the, even though they are doing good things.
But
So
other
over
leaders
here-
of the Congress party have been praised by leaders of the BJP. It's not about Rahul Gandhi alone. And Rahul Gandhi hasn't held an administrative position. So I'm not sure what you want him to be praised for.
Rahul
But
Gandhi
he,
himself.
see, my friend is telling that we are not believing nation first. That is what I want to say.
Okay. I want to bring in,
Nation first,
once again, I
Congress
want
is
to bring in
always-
Pallavi here. Pallavi,
But
all
for
of those
Operation
statements
Sindoor, we are
aside,
supporting
you know,
the
one of the
government.
things that the Kerala unit was criticizing is that Shashi Tharoor criticized Indira Gandhi for the emergency period and, you know, personally criticized Indira Gandhi, not just the fact that emergency was wrong, bad, etc. Do you think there Shashi Tharoor went one step too far?
Two things they had a problem with and which they complained about it to Rahul Gandhi. One, of course, praising, criticizing Indira Gandhi, talking about the emergency days. And the second, of course, is when in an article, he actually praised the economic policies of the Pinarayi Vijayan government. And for them, it was sacrilege. That's the point they raised, that, you know, if we are going to be fighting the left, and remember, Pinarayi Vijayan broke this whole cyclical pattern of coming back to power. So third time round, they don't want to take that risk. Certainly not if Priyanka Vadra is also an MP from there, KC Venugopal is also an MP from Kerala. So they said that, you know, this man has always been an outsider. Now he's speaking like someone who is a B team of the BJP or the left. In 2009, when he took his poll plunge, I remember he contested for the first time, there was a huge uproar in the Kerala Congress unit. They said that this man doesn't even understand what Kerala is all about, politics is all about, he's coming in from America. So there was always this sense of discomfort with the Shashi Tharoor factor. The thing is that no one could touch him because he come back to power, he has a huge attraction. And
he wins his seat. What are you going to do about it?
And he wins his seat, fourth-time member of parliament, where he ticks the right boxes in terms of electoral performance. So how do you kind of attack him on that? But he's never been someone who has been an insider, and he's spoken about it. You know, he hobnobs more with people who are not in the Congress, who are very, he's more comfortable with them, with the TMC, the Samajwadi Party or the RJD. And, you know, so it's very clear that there's a difference in line I see. Kerala Congress attacking him full on. At the centre, the Congress party is a little bit more reticent and careful in attacking Shashi Tharoor.
No, so would it be fair to say that because he's not that quintessential Congress leader who rose from the ranks, let's say came from Youth Congress and otherwise, instead he was a former diplomat, an erudite spokesperson, and therefore, you know, was someone who was not really the other kind of Congress in Kerala. That's why he's not gotten his due, because his grouse seems to be that I am not given my due despite the fact that I keep winning elections and despite the fact that, you know, I clearly can represent the party very well. Is it that it is true that, you know, Kerala Congress, no matter what he does, they will just not allow him to take control of the reins?
I mean, everyone who knows the Kerala Congress also knows that, you know, the leaders over there are not very comfortable with him. I mean, even the KC Venugopal for that matter. You've heard what Muralidharan also had to say about Shashi Tharoor. But the interesting part is Shashi Tharoor was brought into politics by the Gandhis for precisely the reason that he was not fitting into the Congress mold. They wanted someone different, who was articulate, who would come with fresh ideas. And for quite some time, he was the go-to person. That is why he was made an HRD minister, the External Affairs minister, and so on and so forth.
So what went
Down
wrong?
the line, something went wrong. And what went wrong is, he's again, as you correctly pointed out, not a quintessential Congress leader. You know, you cannot mold him. I think the downhill I started noticing when he actually contested the Congress presidential election. Yeah. He
so
actually contested it as, you know, very professionally.
Yes, so Nicole, it all comes back to the same thing. You can have any amount of pluses, you can have any amount of experience, you can have any amount of, you know, motivation to do for your party, but the party only allows a certain type of individual to rise, which is that you have to do almost like a Ji Hazuri of the first family of the Congress party. Unless you're of that mold, which most Congress leaders seem to be, you're not going to get anywhere. And that seems to be Shashi Tharoor's case.
I don't think so, because there are so many Congress leaders who had rise up into the party, grown up to the level of ministers, chief ministers, even so many party positions, and that is how it works. And
but they all are subservient to the one family. Let's not forget that Shashi Tharoor wanted to bring a certain amount of professionalism and accountability in the Congress internal democracy structure. He fought elections knowing very well he's going to become a persona non grata, and the party made it come true. The party should have actually instead to allay these fears that you can only rise to a certain point of time till the family allows you to, should have actually embraced him with open arms.
I appreciate your statement that the Congress is the only party in the entire country who had kept an election for the president of their own entire party. No other party used to hold such elections and try to face
That battle aside, what did it get to the Congress party?
And I would like to appreciate that we are such party and we have a very good democratic, healthy environment in our party, and we appreciate the process in which we are all involved.
So you are saying that, Shashi Tharoor does not have a case to be the leader of the Kerala unit. He shouldn't be projected as the next Kerala chief minister. All of these are unreasonable demands that he has.
He is right now member of parliament. The first answer is that he has been given a mandate. He is a member of parliament. He used to be at so many places. He is into the party till he is there. So I don't think so. Your question is valid for anymore right now. Let's see what happens in the future.
Okay. Gopal Agarwal, it seems like, popular perception is that Shashi Tharoor is suffering because, one, he's not willing to toe a very narrow-minded, blinders-on kind of criticism of the government. And secondly, because he contested those presidential elections, he's very vocal about the fact that you need to move on as far as the top leadership of the Congress is concerned. But obviously, that is a battle that many congressmen have fought and have never won.
Shivani, we have to understand from this episode whether it is Shashi Tharoor or not. We are not defending him. The thing is, the Congress leadership is utterly in disarray. They don't have any policy with regard to the democratic functioning of the party. They don't have any ideology where to run or direction given to their leaders or their workers. They even at issues which are concerns the national interest, they are not clear about it. So the complete disarray in their ideology, direction, leadership, confusion is there at everywhere. Otherwise, if they don't want, just remove Shashi Tharoor. Why they want to continue?
Because they don't want to make it clear that they're firing him because he said certain things. No, but that is something that needs to be asked. I asked Pallavi this. Is it possible that the Congress will at all take any action? Because anything they do, it will be something that will make them look very bad or will present them in poor light. So are both sides stuck in a way? Pallavi.
I doubt immediately. They're looking for a reason, of course. I think what Congress leaders did tell me is that, one, on the issue of nationalism, national unity, Operation Sindoor, a differing stand, it would be politically suicidal to get rid of Shashi Tharoor on these grounds. I think we are waiting to see who's going to blink first. Many Congress leaders who are a little sympathetic to Shashi Tharoor also say that you cannot stay in the Congress party and make the kind of statements that you're making. So he will have to take the plunge. Now, technically speaking, if Shashi Tharoor is told to leave the party, he still remains a member of parliament. If he leaves on his own, then he will have to contest the elections again, or Thiruvananthapuram will go in for a bypoll. I'm not so sure that, he can win as an independent, though he's built up that kind of a stature over there, definitely. So why would he want to spoil his next 4 years as a member of parliament? So it's more question of who's going to blink first. Maybe they're going to look for a bigger reason, maybe some big statement he makes, which is going to go on and hurting.
Sorry, I interpret it as they're waiting for him to make a blunder before they can do something. A political blunder.
A political blunder. Or, if he attacks the Gandhis full on. Rahul Gandhi or someone like that. So far, he attended the meeting this morning. He kind of retweets Rahul Gandhi's social media posts. So he's also playing it both the ways.
But how fair is it for Shashi Tharoor to say that actually I don't have a problem with the party. I want to stay with the party. Leaving the party is not something I'm considering at all. Is he being honest when he says this?
No, or he does have a problem with the party, because when he did meet Rahul Gandhi, and in fact, remember when that bypoll was happening in Kerala, he was on record to say this, that I have not been involved in the campaigning.
No, that is criticism of the Kerala unit. He has problems with them, no doubt.
He feels that the central Congress leaders, especially those who are from Kerala, are deliberately leaving him out. He has told this to Rahul Gandhi that I'm not involved in many of the party's important strategic meetings. Party says, you decided to go as a part of a delegation, maybe you should have asked us. He says, I did ask the party, I did tell them. So,
But his love is still for the Congress party?
I think it's more about an option. I think he's, as of now, not thinking of leaving the Congress party and joining the BJP because politically speaking, joining the BJP in a constituency like Thiruvananthapuram perhaps doesn't make sense for him.
Okay. Gopal K. Agarwal, I can only ask you this. I can try my luck. Why don't you get him into the BJP since certainly you don't really mind Shashi Tharoor anymore?
Shivani ji, we are not discussing Shashi Tharoor at party level or anything. The issue is about, we are always concerned about the main opposition party's confusion. Congress is completely in disarray, their confusion. That is what we are interested in discussing. You have an important role, opposition, largest party in the opposition. You have an important role in democracy, in national interest, building national interest, etc. But that is not happening. That is.
And if this was individually just a case of Shashi Tharoor, you could say that maybe both sides have a point. But the sad reality is that for the Congress party, they've lost a lot of talent. Younger talent as well, because all of them felt that either the party is not going anywhere or they are not going anywhere in the party, and that's the problem.
Gandhi instead of we want to discuss Rahul Gandhi instead of Shashi Tharoor.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
The problem is Rahul Gandhi.
All right, fair enough. I've run out of time. I do thank all of our guests for joining us. Time for a very short break. On the other side, the right stand with Amin Muslim.
Brought to you by This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Prioritizing the country over anything else. He was quoted as saying that there are national interests that go above party interests, even though there are ideologies that dictate parties. Now, senior Congress leader K. Muralidharan has reacted sharply to what Shashi Tharoor said, declaring that the party has given up on Tharoor, announcing that he would be barred from party events in Thiruvananthapuram, from where he is actually an MP, until he aligns his party's stance. The BJP has quickly seized of this situation, slamming Congress for its obsession with family politics, accusing the party of sidelining leaders like Tharoor for voicing support for the country's national security.
അല്ല അദ്ദേഹം കാര്യം ഞങ്ങൾ വിട്ടല്ലോ. ഇപ്പം അദ്ദേഹം ഞങ്ങളെ കൂട്ടത്തിൽ കൂടിയതായി ഞങ്ങൾ കണക്കാക്കുന്നില്ല. അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ നടപടി വേണോ വേണ്ടെന്നുള്ള ദേശീയ നേതൃത്വം തീരുമാനിക്കട്ടെ. അദ്ദേഹം നിലപാട് തിരുത്താടത്തോളം കാലം തിരുവനന്തപുരത്ത് പാർട്ടിയുടെ ഒരു പരിപാടിയിലും അദ്ദേഹത്തിനെ ഞങ്ങൾ പങ്കെടുപ്പിക്കില്ല. അദ്ദേഹം ബഹിഷ്കരിക്കുക. അദ്ദേഹം ഞങ്ങളുടെ കൂടെ ഇല്ല, പിന്നെ എന്തിനാ ബഹിഷ്കരിക്കുന്നത്?
We have certain values and convictions that keep us in our parties, but we need to cooperate with other parties in the interests of national security. The question you asked. Sometimes the parties feel that is disloyal to them, and that becomes a big problem. Which is your first loyalty? To my mind, the nation comes first. A safer India, an India whose borders are protected, whose territory is safe, whose people's well-being can be nurtured. And that is my commitment. And that's, if we hold that ideal up, a lot of people have been very critical of me because of the stand I've taken supporting our armed forces and our government and what happened recently in our country and on our borders. But I will stand my ground because I believe this is the right thing for the country.
Now, we're learning from the Congress party that the party itself has not taken any decision yet if it has to distance itself from Tharoor. They're considering Mr. Muralidharan's viewpoint as his own personal opinion, but the problem is that it has been voiced in public and he has almost made an announcement that Shashi Tharoor is no longer part of them. Pallavi Ghosh, my colleague, joining us with more on this. Pallavi, this is the internal rift, but also the internal conflict on the issue of Shashi Tharoor kind of becoming very apparent. The party leadership doesn't want to be seen as taking any decision against Tharoor, but local leaders are not keeping quiet.
Absolutely, and Shivani, I think it best captures the dilemma within the Congress party. They can't live with Shashi Tharoor, they can't live without Shashi Tharoor, and that is the reason why the Congress is having to think many times over before taking any action against him. What we are picking up from top Congress sources is one, Muralidharan's comments are his own. It doesn't come from any official position. There is no reason why we should be believing or accepting what he's saying. And the second thing is that the Congress party has to make up its mind yet on whether they want to take any action against Shashi Tharoor or not. Now look at the issue that he's picked up, that is of national security, of nationalism. That is an issue on the basis of which they feel that Shashi Tharoor cannot be slighted, he cannot be facing any kind of an action, because it is only going to go back and hitting out at the Congress. And that is the reason why the Congress sources are telling us that as of now, they have not made up their mind. They don't plan to take any action against Shashi Tharoor. They are waiting and watching to see. And it is by and large an issue being raised by the Kerala unit of the Congress party, where clearly the dissent is very, very obvious. There's an anger against Shashi Tharoor because they feel that these kind of comments will only end up hurting the party's chances in the 2026 state assembly elections.
Right. Pallavi, this is of course becoming almost an untenable situation. What's the mind of the senior leaders of the Congress party and on ground?
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Narsimhan. First up, ladies and gentlemen, and to our viewers, days after the ISKCON Sri Sri Radhakrishna Temple in the Spanish Fork in Utah in the USA, now renowned globally for hosting the annual Holi festival there, came under attack in a suspected hate crime with over 24 bullets fired at the premises over several days, causing significant structural damage. Another incident, and this time around in London. A shocking incident unfolded at ISKCON's Govinda restaurant in London in Soho region. It's right next to the ISKCON temple in Soho, a well-known pure vegetarian establishment. And in the video, the man approached the staff and asked, "Is this a vegan restaurant? So there is no meat? Are you sure?" When the staff repeated several times that it was indeed a vegetarian restaurant, the man pulled out a box of KFC chicken and started eating. Even as the angry